the Cape Cod Fighting Alliance, he is the beast from Hollywood East, Michael the Hammer Mulligan.
Hey folks, Michael the Hammer Mulligan here. We're here to do a fireside chat with Dwayne Forbes. What's up, Dwayne?
How you doing, man?
Good. Dwayne studies mixed martial arts, ground guy, specialist, and we're not here for that today. We're here to talk about his job, and he's going to kind of describe it to us. I think it's pretty cool. Dwayne, tell him what you're doing.
I work at the Sheriff's Department down in Plymouth. I'm the Sheriff Joseph McDonald, and I'm the defensive tactics instructor.
Nice.
So basically what I do is I'm recently promoted to captain, so firearms and training, which encompasses
Captain America.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like it is. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But it encompasses like defensive tactics, and basically what that is, it's with people in corrections, law enforcement, under MPTC, Municipal Police Training Council.
Yep.
There's CMRs, there's standards that they get trained in, and basically defensive tactics. In over the years, when I've been there since 1993. I became an instructor in 1995, and what I saw was, when I went to the class to get certified, everything was police, 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 police. Nothing wrong with that, but they talk about, if this happens, you can, transition to pepper spray. This happens, you can transition to a baton.
I don't understand police. You mean like if something happened at the jail, they call the police?
No, what I'm saying is it was all police oriented. Okay. Kind of corrections is like a forgotten entity.
Yep.
You know what I mean? No one really, they think that it's just, lock them up, throw away the key, and the story.
They're just a gatekeeper.
Right, but there's a lot that encompasses being a correctional officer. Some people will refer to us or say the word guard. That's like, a guard is somebody that sits outside and punches tickets, making sure you don't steal any, products from Home Depot or something like that, or whatever.
Yep.
But, when I was saying police, when they teach, when I was going through as defensive tactics, they would always talk about you could use the baton, you could use, in a correctional environment, we don't have that.
Right. You don't have a gun.
We don't have anything.
Right. Yeah.
Just like we are right now, just put a uniform on us and a belt and a radio. That's it. I mean, you can't carry batons inside a facility, you can't carry firearms, because that could get taken from you, and then used against you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, over the years, since 1995, so for many years, and then I got into it, John Saris, who was a correctional officer, who was first studied under Paul Curtin.
Paul Curtin.
Then went with Mike True.
Didn't he just fight? Paul Curtin just fight? He
absolutely.
Did a little,
Yeah. So they went and he asked me. I'm going back 2002, 2003. John Saris is like, hey, why don't you come up to Mike True's place up there and do some ground stuff, some hits, and all this other stuff. I never wrestled. I just in high school, just a football player.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Just a football player.
Yes, that's it. So with that, I said, yeah, sure. I went up there and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the whole, being taken down on the ground and so forth. And I did that with John Saris for probably 6-7 months, and then Tommy Giobbi, who you know very well, out of South Shore Sport Fighting.
Yeah, great guy. Great school.
Yeah, he took me up there, and basically Tommy took me under his wing, and then it really got down and dirty,
nice.
Up at South Shore, and I became real passionate with it. Then, in 2007, 8, and 10, I didn't go in 2009, but I did the Naga tournament.
How'd you make out?
I won the division.
Nice. Good job.
Masters divisions, and walked away feeling pretty good. It's not a big venue at my weight class because I was fighting the super heavyweight, so it was like 3 or 4 guys. So it's not like I went out there and clean house. It was.
You did work. I mean, you went, you studied, and then you went and tried your skills.
Yeah, and it
exactly,
worked.
Exactly. That's what it's all about.
So with that, my gears started turning. And again, because every 2 years you have to get recertified for your instructor statuses to continue to teach. And finally I started talking with other instructors through the counties, talking about we need to do something and envelop what goes on now, keep up with the times.
Yep.
Them days of just going in and manhandling and
hitting them with a club in the cell and closing the door and calling it done.
Them days are done. It's you got to keep up with the times in order to stay fresh.
Because now you're not like a state prison where somebody gets sent to and he's there for 20 years. Your place is kind of eternal. So a lot of the guys that are there, they may be innocent, they may be guilty, they may be really, really bad, they may be really, really good, stuck in a really bad situation. So it's like they're in a place, they're in a time in their life where they're not feeling so great, and they might do something stupid that they don't. So you got to kind of protect them as well as yourselves.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, we do have the biggest facility in New
Yeah.
England. You know,
Yeah.
We house federal, state, county, and juvenile. And you got people out there who, like you said, go out, have a few too many pops, go out there, get in a fight, go out there, whatever. And next thing you know, now they have to go to court.
Right.
And then they're on trial for, you know, if it calls for the fact that, yeah, we're going to hold you in custody.
Yep.
So you can get somebody of, you know, I'm not going to name names out there, but we know a lot of fighters that are out there.
Sure.
So anyone could end up coming into the correctional facility.
And being in that position right there that they're not used to being, they could be a little offensive as far as their physical. They could be scared and mad, and they could strike out at you guys.
Yeah. I mean, basically, all your rights are kind of, when I say your rights, you know, inside the correctional facility, we tell you when to get up, we tell you, you know, when and who, what, when, and where,
Sure.
why, how, and a lot of people aren't accustomed to that. You figure, like me, 42 years old, and then I do something, I go to jail, and I'm used to my ways, and now I have to listen to your ways.
Yeah.
Some people can't adapt and accustom.
It's a lesson in humility.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. I think everybody should do a year.
So, yeah. Or the military.
Yeah, or the military, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah.
You got, like I said, there are and have been people that come through the doors who are very versed and skilled in mixed martial arts, and with that, you got to sit there and scratch your head. Well, you know what? When you fought, when you still train,
Yep.
the way that the system in corrections and law enforcement, there isn't as you know what's going on in the state, there isn't a big abundance of money to continue to train people.
Sure.
You know, so it costs a lot of money to bring resources together to get people trained.
Yep.
You take a mixed martial arts fight, you take any, we're talking MMA, so you take a mixed martial art, and this is just me, from what I did. The training that I had to do is tenfold compared to what correctional officers get in a year.
In the conditioning.
In a week. I was putting in more time in a week than corrections training would get in a year in that type of like defensive tactics.
It's kind of almost not fair to the officers.
Oh, I mean, and that's why you have to. If I'm working in corrections, and I'm dealing with people who can't deal with society, and they come into the correctional facility, and it's not a country club. There's fights. There's everything happens. You know. People are stressed, holidays, locked up, this, that, and so things happen inside a correctional facility. And again, I told you, we don't have anything on our belts except for a radio. Now with that, I have my mind, which is the biggest weapon, and then your personal weapons, your hands and so forth.
So what do you do for everybody? What do you do? What are you doing now to get this going? What do you do with the guys?
Well, what happened was I got with a bunch of 6 people. We sat on a panel, and we talked about what basic moves for ground defense could you take the average person to show them, so when you're on your back on the ground, because most fights end up going to the ground, street fights go to the ground in what, 10 to 15 seconds, and if you're not accustomed to being on the ground, we're by instinct, a lot of people who are uncomfortable take the fetal position.
Right.
And now you're getting
turtle up.
Yeah, turtle up. You're getting boots on you. You're getting bombs dropped on you. And what happens is, we were looking at that. So we took a whole bunch. We took your basic, shrimping. We started out, shrimping, sprawling. We're not teaching arm bars. We're not teaching, because Big John McCarthy and Herb Dean aren't going to come over.
Right.
And he tapped out. There's no tapping.
So you're not teaching any moves that are going to leave permanent damage to the
No, not whatsoever. It's just basically to safely control and restrain when the time, and to defend yourself, and to defend against, not necessarily 2 guys could be going at it inside the facility, and they're instructed to break that up. You know, so I mean, you gotta weigh the odds for your safety and their safety. But now what just happened most recently is a manual that I brought, you know, was authorized or approved by Mass Sheriff's Association, which is Massachusetts Sheriff's Association in Massachusetts. So there's 14 counties that make up the
so
Mass
this is
Sheriff's
standard now. This is a standard.
They approved it. It's a standard. It's a ground
Nice.
defense for correctional officers.
Now, who did the book?
I did.
You did the book.
I did the book.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
He's the man.
I'm the man sitting next to the man.
So if you mess up and you're in prison and you don't get hit in the head, if they take you down and they hold you until and cuff you, then he just saved your butt.
More or less, yeah. But things are looking up. Things are doing real good. MSNBC lockup. They came.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So myself and Tommy Gio, we got a little.
Can they still find that? Can they still see that show? How do they see that? MSNBC Lockup is the name of the show.
Yes, and it was fire. It's called Fire by Baptism.
Fire. Jeez, I like that.
You like that? the name of the show, Fire by Baptism.
Nice.
And they did. They talked about the whole ground defense, how it's coming into the correctional environment. You know.
Nice.
Again.
Now, how many of the folks have to go through that? You know, how many of your officers have to go through? Is it officers? Am I using the right word? Right. Okay.
Yeah, officers.
So many officers have to go through your course in your prison.
That work with you now. Right now, every single one that's a correctional officer.
Yep.
You have to, part of the curriculum, the academy it's 10 weeks long. The correctional academy is 10 weeks long, and with that, in the 10 weeks. 1 week, and this is what I'm getting at, 1 week is committed to defensive tactics. But the issue stands, like I said, after they get out of the academy, the defensive tactics might come along once 2 years, once 3 years.
Not enough.
So, for example, I've been there 18 years.
Yep.
If I wasn't a defensive tactics instructor and had to recert every 2 years, the last time I had a defensive tactics class was the academy.
Right.
Which would have been 18 years ago.
So you're running something that supplements this?
Exactly.
All right, good.
What I did was I hold professional development. So I'll put up a flyer.
Yep.
And you know, any officer, any person working for the Plymouth County Sheriff's Department, primarily security staff, on their time off, it's all volunteer time. They would come down and for like 3 hours we're doing basic ground defense techniques. You know, how to get back up, you know, ghost escape, you know, taking someone's back and then, you know, 4-point hold down, all kind of good stuff like that. But
so this is stuff, even though you say it's volunteer, this is like, if I'm an officer in there and I know that I have to deal with situations on a daily basis, in my head it's mandatory. I'm taking this class.
You would. A lot of people, you know, but there's some people that are out there that, you know, because of their scheduling,
right.
The hours that they work, they don't have that opportunity, you know, outside of the workplace, because again, it is volunteer. People are like, oh, why don't they just come on, you know, why can't they just fund it? Well, like I said, it costs a lot of money. You get, you know, in an excess of 300 plus officers and you want to get them all trained, but okay, let's send 15 at a time, let's send 20 at a time, but then you need to replace that 15 or 20 to maintain, you know, safety and security inside.
You got to get some of these schools out here to supplement, to give a discount to these guys too. I think that'd be an awesome idea.
Yeah, I know South Shore was doing something.
Were they?
Yeah, they were doing something. So again, but then we start. I mean,
it's all time.
Yeah, it's all about timing and trying to get it out there. Every day, the shirt that I'm wearing now, we just had the T-shirts made up. You know, we get a place and they named it D Block, not for Dwayne Block, but keeping the correctional.
Sure.
You know, setting and so forth, and it's a strength and conditioning. We're in there. It's a 30-minute workout. It's kind of along the lines of like a PX90 CrossFit.
It's like an MMA workout, basically.
Set the ring timer for either 30 or 45 seconds.
Yeah. You
set up anywhere from 7 to 10 stations.
Yeah.
And you have at it. I mean, and there's no eagles. Everybody checks the eagles in at the door, and you know,
it's a very humbling experience, anyways. Because me training, you know, I walk in the door at 6'4", you know, 300 when I started, thinking that I'm gonna, you know, look, he's talking about, Dwayne's talking about bringing guys to the ground, and his thing is he takes guys to the ground. Dwayne and I got probably a foot on Dwayne. But once we get laying on the ground, we're the same size. All right, you take that whole size equation right out. You know, the weight thing, we're not really that far. He's a big muscular guy. So once you got two guys laying on the floor, it's a whole different game. The height thing just isn't there anymore.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Tell me, this is a hard thing. Now I know back in the day, you know, they used to tease the cops about the donut shop, find them at the donut shop, stuff like that. It seems to me that like you drive down the street, you see all the officers in the road and stuff, they're in great shape. Firemen, they have to go through rigorous things to keep in good shape. Your program is helping to do the same thing. I mean, I remember back years ago we had a real estate thing. It was a big thing in the town, and the real estate brokers did a tug of war with the officers because it was ridiculous. You know, I mean, I'm like waiting down the end, and I got 5 girls in front of me looking across at Kevin and all these monsters going, "Oh, this is great." But tell me, how has it physically helped some of your officers that work there?
It helped them out a lot. Like, you know, there's one gentleman who started out with the conditioning program that we're doing.
Yep.
Came in walking at 305.
Yep.
You know, came in at 305 and said, you know, I want to try this out. And he tried it out, and now he's the biggest. He's doing 6 days a week.
Nice.
And he lost over 30 pounds.
It's a good feeling, huh?
Yeah.
Once you get cooking.
Yeah, he lost over 30 pounds in 3.5 weeks. You know, a lot of it was the water weight, but now, I mean, as you saw, you know, when you run the tape prior, you know, we're hitting mitts, we're doing, you know, takedowns, we're you know, tire flipping, sledgehammers in the harness. We just get creative, confusing the body, kettlebells. It's endless, and it's a good venue to have, and it's catching on. People are hearing about it, and it's free, you know. So
yep. How could you beat it?
Yeah, you come down.
So this isn't mandatory. This is you running it. This is Tom Giove. Is he running this too? How's this?
Tom Giove and myself. Again, I give him a lot of credit. You know,
he's a great guy. Yeah, he's good school, good teacher.
I wouldn't be or got into it as much as I have. And then when he would bird dog. We call it bird dogging. I'd be off on I'd go off on the side. Yeah. I'm gonna take a break. Oh, you're starting to lose your edge, you know, and he rides you, bird dog you, and then I'd get right back into it. Why don't you do the, you know, and I wanted to, you know, guys that get in the ring like yourself, and that cage closes behind you and stuff like that. Like, I've been on the floor, never cornered Tommy, anything like that, but close enough to, it takes a different animal to get in there. I would have loved to have done that. It wasn't in, you know, because it takes a lot of commitment.
Yeah, it's
you know,
time, buddy. And you got a full time, and it sounds like not only you're doing your job, but it sounds like you're volunteering a lot of time to help out the others that do this job too.
Absolutely,
very commendable.
And you know, that was one thing. If I could go back and do, I would have loved to have done.
Yep.
To just gone in there and test.
Well, you in the military too?
Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, nice.
I was in the Marine Corps, and I right out of high school. I actually applied at the prison, and I was 18 and a half going on 19, and they looked at me and was, "You're too young, you know, why don't you go to school and come back?" You know, if you figured I wouldn't come back. So I went to the Marine Corps in 1989, got out 1993 on January 23rd, and I was knocking on the door.
Nice. January
24th of 93.
Yeah.
I'm back and I have a job, and academy started in April, and went and did it. And then after that, the rest is, you know, the rest is history. 18 years flies by.
Yeah.
You know, definitely.
Now, I saw you at the school too. You had you train, you have do the course for the new recruits. You kind of weed them out and see if they're going to make it, they're not going to make it. Is that what happens there?
Yeah, I'm the senior drill instructor.
Yep.
For the Plymouth County Sheriff's Department. So anybody who gets hired by the Sheriff's Department, you have to go through a 10-week. It's mandatory. You have to go through a 10-week academy, and being, you know, from the Marine Corps and so forth, Sheriff McDonald has, you know, opened the parameters in which the training consists of. And I guess I will say it that
say it.
We have the Correctional Academy.
Yep.
I would put it to the test that the only academies out there, as far as like correctional, we are the most vigorous, challenging, academically and physically academy that's out there. The only one that is, I would say, is up there above us is the state police and MBTA.
Yeah. And the thing, I think the best point about that right there is that you said it best. You're not wearing a belt, you don't have a club, you don't have a gun, you are physically, you have to be in physically great shape to be able to handle yourself in a situation. You don't have those other options.
No, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war.
Nice.
You know?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I mean, you find a way to get it in.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get it in, then you know you're gonna get caught someday. And I've, like, in my 18 years, I've seen it. You know, and the best of the best have gone out injured and stuff like that. But think about it. I mean, if you're a race car driver, you know, you're gonna get out there and you're gonna practice.
Right.
You're gonna, you know, learn the curves. You're gonna learn the car and so forth. Police, when police get out there, you know, they're always working on, you know, their tools that they carry on their belt. They just don't put it away, and then a year later, you know, they're always staying sharp. I guess keep, like Tommy G always says, keeping the sword sharp.
Right.
So in corrections, you know, stay fit. I mean, we take a physical fitness test every single year.
Yep.
And it's
What happens if you flunk?
I
Did
don't
they give
know.
you like time to redo it?
Yeah,
I'm sure you never have flunked. I mean,
yeah,
this
so
is
I mean, I'm
terrible.
sitting there. Yeah, I mean, it's they take tests every year, but it's the new hires. There's a small group now, because so much time's gone by, that's grandfathered in that they don't have to take the test.
Right.
But you come in now, every single year you have to take. No one's failed the test. It's really not set, you know, to make you fail. But what it is you just can't come in and breeze by it either.
Right, well, you've got to be in a certain kind of shape to be able to do this job.
Yeah.
Just like the police, just like the firemen, everything else, you know. And again, you made the point about the mixed martial artists that are out there now, all these people that are training. Now, I'll use my son as an example because I like to,
Yeah.
but he's a great, humble kid. He holds the doors for people. He says, "Excuse me, thank you." Just a great, great, humble kid. Somebody asked me, "Why do you have him training? Why wouldn't I?"
Right.
You think about a kid like that. He doesn't walk on anybody, but he's not going to get walked on. Why would I not? Why would I not want him to be equal to everybody else out there at least?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's I don't even know who's tree huggers do that. You know what I mean? Like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Those are the same people asking why wasn't somebody like Shane around to help me out when I was getting,
Exactly.
you know, hemmed up or in a situation that they couldn't get out of.
Yeah. It's a tough world. It is, and that's why you have your job, and you have to do these things to keep you guys in shape.
Look at society today. Look at all the stuff that's like, we're 4 or 5 years apart, maybe even smaller, but I know when I was growing up and I saw a police officer in a uniform, my heart dropped, even though I wasn't doing anything. It was just a respect thing, like, whoa, these guys look at you now?
Yeah.
They look you up and down like, and what?
Yeah.
I'll take you out. It's the whole respect level and
Sure.
times have changed.
Well, you know, and I'm not a political guy, so I'm not going to get into church and state and all that, but the Catholics, remember the fear that they had of God, and oh my God, if I do that, that's all gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So basically, and you're a great dad, and I'm a pretty good dad, and I think that the morals and the ethics and all that stuff get taught in home.
Absolutely.
And we have to be there to take care of the kids and to teach them and to bring them up right. If I'm not going to teach my kids how to say please and thank you and everybody else, they're not going to do it in school. There's great teachers there, but there's a million kids too. So we got to make sure that we keep them out of his house.
Yeah, absolutely. And when they, you know, and it's a big wake-up call when they do come in there.
Sure.
You have some imposing figures, you know, that are incarcerated. And what I talk about is people, like I said, who have trained, and now they come back, you know, into the correctional setting, and they're not looking for an issue,
Right.
but being pushed to a corner, whether it just be with staff or whether it be with another inmate.
Right.
You have there have been some skilled, talented people who have gone through them doors that you and I both know.
Yep.
And it just, you just sit there and it's like, wow. And you know, inside the correctional facility, when they're locked up and they're in their cells, what's funny is when I was, because I don't work inside anymore. Now I'm specifically assigned to the firearms and the training side, but go back 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and all the years when MMA first came out,
Yep.
the UFC, it's Spike TV, so it's on regular television. they would see it, and then you would see the inmates practicing moves.
Yeah.
You know, you see them talking about it. They see, they see the fights and so forth. Then you get somebody.
And what else do they got to do?
Nothing. And that's
exactly. That's the point right there. You got 23-1, and you're like, exactly.
Take any one of the guys you know out there that come in, and and an inmate knows, like, wow, he fights in the local circuits, this, that, and the other.
Yep.
I'm gonna be your best friend, because now I want to get some free training, and won't tell and I'm gonna stroke your ego.
And to be honest, as far as like, you don't need heavy bags, you don't need equipment to do this. This is the thing. All you need is a floor, and you can do 90% of the cardio, the exercise, and everything else. You don't need all this. Look, you don't need the Stairmaster. You don't need all that stuff. All you need is yourself and a little bit of inspiration.
Yeah,
and
creativity.
And time. And they got that.
Creativity. Yeah, they do. That's all they have. So we're into a whole new generation. Thinking of who's his name there.
Which one?
The commentator, Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, he's awesome.
Yeah, like he said it yesterday. McDonald, you saw the fights last night,
yeah,
right? Well, he was talking about McDonald.
If he just stood up and grabbed.
Well, he was just talking about this kid, and I say kid lightly. That
the 22-year-old kid.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Well, like Joe Rogan said, he goes, listen, we're in a time and age like. They're not growing up with, okay, so I wrestled, okay, so I boxed. They're coming into it.
Shane the Future Mulligan. That's what he does. That's why we call him that. That's it. He is not this, he is not that. He is being brought up as a mixed martial artist.
And that's
exclusive.
It's a good combination.
Yep.
But it's a dangerous combination if you test the waters.
Right.
You know, for those who don't, it's I don't know. It's an awesome sport.
You can't look at. I said it. You'll hear it on every single interview we do. I'm a Frankenstein. I took a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of these, and put it together. Got in the ring and did my thing. It's not the same. It's not. These kids are being brought up now, and this is why he does what he does in the prison. These guys are being brought up. Not all of them are as humble as Shane or as good at people. There are some out there with the attitudes and stuff that think that they're on top of the world. They're gonna do stupid stuff. They're gonna get sent to Dwayne's house, and there's gonna be an issue there. And if these guys don't know how to handle the property, somebody's gonna really get hurt.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the pretenders out there. Everybody's
yeah, exactly. I mean, you hear it all the time. I'm in MMA. I took one class 10 weeks ago. You got the one school. There's one school in Wareham that lists 5 different people that they call trainers or we work with. And those people showed up once to the seminar and left. They don't have any fighters in the school. They don't have anybody in the school that actually.
Talking about the Perlman?
No, actually, it's a different one. I'll be nice. I'm not going to mention any names because they're all schools, but it's like, Mike Logolobo on the first show we got going on, he says that you got to check the lineage of the school, check the lineage of the fighters, make sure you get into. And on that, Mike mentioned Lazone's, CCFA, wow. as the ones that are legit, he was goes. Listen, we're going to have to do another show because this went fast. We got a lot of information in. Dwayne, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for doing what you do. It's very important, not only to the officers, but to the inmate safety, to everybody's safety. And we thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Folks, thanks for coming to another Fireside Chat with Michael, the Hammer Mulligan.
How has D-Block changed your life?
Unbelievable. It's life-changing, altering. I can't really talk right now. I'm very tired.
Well, folks, I was so impressed with what Dwayne Forts does for us in the community and for the people at his work and the prisoners as well, that I lost track of time, so I had to cut it a little bit short. Fear not, we will have Dwayne back on. He's a great guy. I love his story. I love what he does for us. I'm really impressed, and I'm glad to have him as a friend and a member of our community. Again, Captain Dwayne Forts, thank you very much for being here. And folks, thanks for coming for another Fireside Chat with Michael, the Hammer Mulligan. Hey folks, Michael, the Hammer Mulligan here. Today we're going to do a fireside with Linda Shields. Hi Linda.
Hi Michael.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm awesome.
Thanks for having me in the beautiful studio.
Oh, anytime, anytime. You are the president of CFX.
I think so, yeah.
The president. The head
It's a
person
fun
in
job.
charge. Is it a good job?
Yeah, it's fun.
All right. What is your role? What do you do? How did it get going?
I think for Cage Fighting Extreme, I wear many hats.
Okay.
And because there's always something new to do, it's not just about promoting anymore. It's not just about being the promoter. It's about getting involved, mixing in the crowd, knowing the fighters, and even getting involved with matching up the fights. I mean, it's really fun to do everything.
I see you everywhere. When I'm at the fights, it's great because you like bounce everywhere. You have to, I swear, you have to talk to at least 75% of the people in there.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I like to know what's going on.
Yeah, well, it's a nice feature. I mean, it kind of makes you feel at home. It's not like, you know, a lot of places you'll go to. It's kind of generic, you know. I mean, there's a lot of things at your fights that go on. The punching machine, you know. I like one of the ones that I fought at. Would you have the military there?
Yeah.
Rumble in the Jungle. Had the
and they
machine.
did. Yeah, they did they did different stations that had different type of contests they did, and they gave away prizes for the military, which was really fun.
Yeah.
Bullet machine was one of them, and then they had some push bar or something.
Yeah.
I didn't actually do any of the contests,
I don't blame you.
but it seemed like they were having fun, so.
It keeps it good. I mean, would they have a cannoli thing in there or something?
Yeah, cannoli
this
guy.
This is at the Jungle Prex, right? The cannoli guy and all the different feet. Because you go to a lot of them and it doesn't have all that stuff, and you sit and you wait between the fights, and it gets a little bit boring.
Well, the only reason we don't do that, Mike, to make it more like a carnival type. We do that because the Jungleplex is such a big open space.
Yep.
We do it so that people aren't bored.
Right.
You know, sometimes you may go with a group of friends, or you may go with a date, or you may go with your family, you may go with your kids, or, you know, whoever. No matter who you're there with, not everybody has the same focus.
Right.
So somebody may want to sit and watch the fights, and somebody else may want to get up to use the bathroom, get a drink, or stop and play with the punching machine.
Sure, exactly.
You know, and then they get back, and it seems like they stay in the same location for a longer period of time, and everyone's happy. It's like entertainment for all.
Exactly.
Not to be like circus-like, but, you know, the cannoli guy's truck did seem kind of circus-like, so we did away with
but you
that.
know what, though? It was nice, though. I mean, I didn't eat a cannoli.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. But it was just nice.
Can't
I
resist.
love looking at the stuff in there. I know. Seeing all the things in there, seeing it in that room, it just changed the whole atmosphere because I saw so many soccer matches in there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? That it was just a whole different thing. It was just really, really nice.
It became, now there's a perfect example. People hear the Jungleplex, if they know that as like an indoor sporting facility.
Correct.
They know it as, you know, my kid played soccer there.
Exactly.
They don't know it transformed. So when they do come to a show there and there's cage fighting, they look around almost in awe in the beginning till they get used to the idea, and then they say the opposite when they go to their soccer games.
Right.
Hey, I saw a cage fight here.
Yeah.
It didn't look anything like this.
That's it. I actually said that when I was sitting there watching the soccer game, I was bleeding right there.
Yeah, right.
You know?
So people don't understand what it takes to actually transform the Jungleplex. It's a whole entire process.
Right.
I mean, thankfully,
it's almost like a rock and roll show. It's almost like the crew comes in, You know?
Yeah. And thankfully the Jungleplex staff and the owners, they're awesome, and
Yeah,
they jump right in. There
Yeah.
aren't many venues that the people that are involved with the venue actually jump right in.
Now they worked this place out for you. I mean, we you know, when I fought there was probably what 4,000 to 6,000. It was a stupid number.
Yeah.
I mean, the place was packed. there was people parked in. You know, the shops at 5 were full. All of Plymouth was full of cars for the fights. So the town comes in and says, all right, no, you got to do this, 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 and this if you want to do this again. And they stepped up. They did it. They made the parking lot in the back, right?
They
They did
yes.
the extra entries. They did everything to the fire code. So they made it basically for you.
They did. You know, they really accepted us. You're right.
They did.
And the more that I thought about it, different people wrote newspaper articles, different newspapers and writers got a hold of it, and some competitors of ours, and said that Cage Fighting Extreme got kicked out of Plymouth, which was just the opposite. We actually got called into the police station, and on the ride there, we all thought we were in a little bit of trouble, and we said, you know, well, whatever the wrath is, we'll take it.
Right.
It is what it is. I mean, we broke the law. We literally broke every traffic and parking law in the town.
It wasn't intentional. It
No.
was just. It was the first. You know. I mean, what do you want? The hammer was there. I mean,
The hammer was there. The police came up and they said, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but people are abandoning their car on Route 3.
they were nice,
And
weren't they?
they're-
The
yeah,
police.
they were very,
really
very
were.
nice.
Wasn't it? You know.
And it was somewhat embarrassing that we, you know, talked up our fans and said, you know, our fans won't cause any trouble. They'll come to Plymouth. They'll actually, you know, help the town. They'll buy gas and they'll stay at the hotels,
Right.
and it will be great for Plymouth.
And they did.
And they did. They
Yes.
absolutely did. We sold out 2 hotels,
Yep.
and there was a rainstorm that night.
Yep.
Like a terrible rainstorm. And it was a little chilly, but people didn't care. They stopped and they were walking from leaving their cars, you know, up on Long Pond Road, and they walked down. I mean, it was a great event. There was absolutely no trouble on the inside of the venue.
It was great.
They
Yeah.
said the biggest trouble they had was, you know, fans parking on people's lawns and on Long Pond Road, but illegally.
Yeah.
So I can understand it, and if I went to a venue too and there wasn't enough parking, I would leave my car like parked illegally.
All right, but the thing is to be fair, we were inside that building. That building was not full.
No.
There was still room for more people in
Yeah.
that building, so it was very hard to tell that, you know, being in there, Linda's working about. She's running all around. She's like, she does everything. She's got her hand in everything, making sure everything's perfect. It was funny, the front tables with the people with the, you know, the VIP tables and stuff, they're bringing over candy and bringing over stuff and putting it. That was great. That was a nice touch. So for her, she's inside. She doesn't know all this stuff's going on. Outside, the parking issue. Who
Right.
knew?
No,
Really?
nobody knew until later on that night. But we did hear when the police and the fire department got, I guess, a look at what was going on with the parking. They had come in and said to us, "Okay, I think it's time to shut the doors," and we were all in a state of confusion. Like, why is it time to close the doors when we still have all this space?
Right.
So, after going to the back of the venue, it was, thank God, Mike Peroni.
Yeah.
He really, you know, he knows the layout of the building.
Sure.
And he walked the whole facility, and he understood more of, okay, we just shuffle people this way, shuffle them that way.
Right.
And we were able to do it, but there was still, you know, no indication on the inside what was going on the outside. There was just no idea that we had
Exactly.
all of this parking issues.
So they took you to the police station. Basically, what did they say? They said, "Listen, we got to come up with a new plan."
No.
Okay.
Not quite.
All right.
But that sounded like it would be the way to go.
It would be the way I'd like it to go, anyways.
No, actually, we walked in and there was this big long table with all these seats and they were all filled.
Oh boy.
And it was more of one of those situations where you walk in and here I am with all my notes and I'm like, I'm prepared. Because whatever it is, I'll incur it and take the wrath for it and, you know, fix it, whatever the problem is.
Yeah.
Because they were so kind to us and they were so good to us, like just even through the whole event.
Sure.
They weren't ignorant at all, and they were thanking us for there being no trouble. So we weren't walking in there with a bad attitude to begin with.
Right.
We were walking in there like, okay, we can work this out. So the police chief said, you're not in trouble. We want to help you. We were like, phew, thank God.
Nice.
So whatever it is, we'll fix. And they said, here are the things that have to be buttoned up. And they gave us a list, and they said the capacity of the building was not as high as what we shoved in that building.
Right. Even though it wasn't shoved, but I
Right.
understand, right.
So the inside of the building needed to have push bars on the doors, which is not anything anyone would have known. So it increased the capacity by just putting a couple push bars on
Sure.
the back doors.
Yeah.
It was that simple
It's
on the
fire.
inside.
It's all about fire, and if you get too many people into one place trying to get through a door, there's going to be an issue.
Right,
Exactly.
yeah,
So
of
this
course.
is, yep,
And we also leave the overhead doors open.
right.
So with doing that as well, we're also able to circulate air so it doesn't get really hot in there, and it
We
makes
don't want
it
Dorchester.
never again.
That was hot.
That was too hot. I can't.
I still had a great time. Don't get me
I-
wrong. That was probably one of my favorite fights to be
Right.
at. But it was hot. It
Do
was
you know-
115 in there.
Probably maybe 150. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah.
It was so hot that it's uncomfortable. Your clothes are sticking to you. The fighters are in there. They're fighting, inside the cage, and they're soaking wet.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's fans going all over the place. The only good part about it was for the fans. They got to watch the girls that were half dressed running around. That was really the bonus for them.
Yeah,
And
nice.
the girls are busy watching the guys, and they're always half dressed in the cage. And the girls
They were passing out paper plates, and
To
everybody
fans.
was sitting there in a place. It was awesome.
fans.
It was awesome. We have AC, 2 and 60, 2 windows down, 60 miles per hour.
Exactly, and the fans were all set up until the commission said all the fans have to be facing inside the cage. Every one of them.
Right.
We came totally prepared with these giant industrial fans,
Yep.
and we had them positioned around so that the wind from the overhead door in the front would cross.
Yep.
So if we kept those going the way that they were, it would have been perfect. So the athletic commission came in and said that all the fans needed to be pointed inside the cage for fighter safety.
If you saw this fight, it was awesome because what would happen, it was like a freaking rock and roll video because the ring girls, who are pretty good looking girls in their cute little outfits and their long hair, what would happen is they'd get up into the ring with their ring card. They wouldn't walk around with the card. They'd walk right up to the fans and bend and hair flowing. It was like a Bon Jovi video.
Well, they
It
were
was
pressed up
funny.
against the cage just enough to get some air.
Yeah. It was excellent.
Who can blame them? It was so hot in there. I don't know how the fighters actually fought that night and didn't get sick.
Exactly.
They're more used to fighting under those type of conditions where their training facilities are usually really warm and hot, and they're used to
Oh, ours
sweating.
is boiling.
Yeah, so you're used
exactly.
to that.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
fans,
it's part of it.
not so much.
Right. And it got to the point, like, I sweat, I'm a big guy, you know what I mean? And it's once I start to sweat, I feel uncomfortable. But in there, it was like, look, after 10 minutes, you're totally soaked, and it's like being in that rainstorm where you just say, oh, okay,
Whatever, right.
Exactly. You get to that point, and then it's off. It's all right, no more embarrassment, nobody cares, everybody's the same as you, let's go.
That is what it turned out to be.
Yes.
And most people were joking about that it seemed to bring the crowd closer because they all shared that in common. Nobody cared that they were soaking wet. People were seeing each other that they haven't seen in a long time. People were walking up hugging, and they were like, who cares if they're sweating?
Exactly.
And that is what made it fun.
Nice.
Because it drew the crowd together, and it got these people to open up. Normally, it would be a conversation starter.
Yep.
But if one person was sweating, everyone would stay away from that person.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. It was a pool. All right, listen. We're going through time pretty good here. This is fun. What do you got next?
November 19th at the Jungleplex.
Nice. At the place. Good.
Yeah.
A little bit about it?
Well, I think it's actually going to be a fun type of fight card because you're going to see a lot of fighters, and I can't tell you everything because it's gonna come up, and I know that you're going to talk to Gary too about this.
Yep.
So there's going to be some fighters coming back that you haven't seen for a while.
Oh, nice.
You're not one of them. I wish you were.
Hey, it could happen one day. You never know.
You never know.
Let me ask you this. What about Deepman? What's going on with him? Because I'm just curious.
I think Deacon's coming back.
Is he going to be heavyweight or is he going down in weight?
I don't know. He's looking pretty lean right now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Because he was close. He was on the bubble. I think he'd do phenomenal at 205.
Well, he's gonna. This is up in the air for him.
Okay.
And Deacon looks fantastic right now. I mean, he looks phenomenal. He
Good.
looked phenomenal before you know, his last fight.
Yeah, he did.
He was
he's
really
great.
cutting
He always
down.
looks good. Yeah.
And he always shows up, you know, looking the part, knowing
Yeah.
the part. Always comes in, you know, just in great shape. And then he gets his tan on, and he likes to smile for the camera.
He doesn't smile that much. He's funny. He walks through and he's got his little, you know what I mean?
I'll
He's
tell you
funny.
this, though.
He'd make a good professional wrestler.
When Diekman walks in the room, the girls stop.
Oh, do they good?
Whatever they're doing, they're like, they gotta watch him walk by, and I don't understand. They just he stops traffic.
Yeah, see, I don't see him as that. You know, I'm a guy, so I don't get that part of it. But that's good for him that he gets that reaction.
It's really good for him, and
Yeah.
I know that even the ring girls, the
Yep.
extreme team girls, they watch him walk by and they'll stop, and you'll hear them on the camera sometimes covering their mouth, like, "Whoa, look at him," or they're like, "Diekman's coming out."
Yep.
You know, it's really cute how they do that because fighters want to know that the girls see them the same way that the guys see the girls.
Right.
I mean, it's only human nature.
Yep.
So with Diekman coming back, the girls are excited.
Nice.
Same thing. Mark Griffin, he's another one the
good.
girls talk
Sure.
about.
Yeah. Now, where did he go? He won your belt, right?
He's the 205 light heavyweight champ.
Ooh, I would love to see those two fight. Oh my God.
They won't fight their friends.
Oh, that's too.
They're
You know, that's kind of too bad because it's you know, we got the same thing with Bean. Bean's friends with Diekman, so that's never going to happen. There's a lot of camaraderie around here. I mean, when the people pull together and they have, you know.
Well, I think what it is too is if you had a training partner.
Yep.
You wouldn't want to fight your training partner.
Absolutely not.
Because you would know the strengths and weaknesses of your opponent
Exactly.
right out of the gate because
Yep.
training with them.
Yep.
Same thing with that person. They know your strengths and your weaknesses. They're not going to want to fight you either. And not to mention, I understand it is a sport, and yes, you do shake hands after. It's not, you know,
Yeah.
something where you guys are beating each other up in the end. When the fight's over, the fight's over.
Right.
It's just a sport, and you're walking the audience and your friends. But you don't step into the cage looking at your friend the same way you would somebody that you didn't train with.
Oh,
a
absolutely
regular
not.
opponent.
Yeah, it's kind of almost more like a sparring match than it is.
So it wouldn't be a fair fight.
I understand.
No matter how you slice
It wouldn't probably be as competitive as if they didn't know each other. And we did the same thing. We do it all
Yeah.
the time. We won't fight this guy's camp because we train with them. We do a lot of stuff with them. So, when, you know, it's like Crush and CCFA or CCFA and
right.
Song, obviously, you know, won't do each other. So
with these new fighters too, I mean, I like to watch Diekman fight. I like him.
yeah, he's entertaining.
He really is.
Yeah, he's a good fighter.
I like to watch Griffin fight. I like to watch Bean.
Is Bean fighting?
He may be, yeah.
Oh, I hope so. Jeez,
I hope
we gotta
so,
see
too.
him. Yeah.
Bean's one of my favorites.
If he doesn't call me to do one of these, me and him are gonna fight.
Call him, Bean, please. Just call him. Call him up. Bean works for Ocean Spray. He works like right in this neighborhood.
Catch the wave.
Catch the wave.
Is he down here? I don't know. There's a million bogs down here. He should be.
I don't know. No, I know. I don't know where his headquarters is. Probably close to
Do you know
here.
what Gressy did for the last like 20 years? That's what he was. He worked for Cranberry Bogs. He worked
Ocean
in a
Spray?
warehouse. I don't know if it's Ocean Spray. He probably stored some of their berries. They had a storage warehouse, and he was the guy inside who took care of everybody's berries. Now he's retired because he's old.
He's retired already?
Yeah, he retired. But now he's working all the time doing MMA. It's his full-time
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So it's awesome. Awesome.
MMA is a lot of fun.
Yep.
And it is just a sport. I want to remind everyone of that. MMA is just a sport. I understand that you step into the cage and it's a fight, but when these fighters are outside the cage, they're not walking through the audience looking to kill each other. And I think that's the biggest
It's a family.
misconception.
It's a whole family.
It's a total family
Yeah.
atmosphere, and you know, inside the cage, it is sanctioned. It's under strict regulations.
Referees are great. They're right there when somebody looks like they're getting too much. They're right.
Right,
there.
they make it safe. They make it fun. And outside the cage, you know, you can go there with your kids and these events, and you can walk around, and it's a safe environment. It's not an environment where, you know, the fans are duking it out in the
Yeah,
audience.
no,
It's just
at all.
not happening.
It's not like a rock concert.
Not even close. Not like a mosh pit. So when you go to watch the fights inside
Nice.
the cage. There's none outside the cage. I'm looking forward to a couple of the people coming back, a couple of the fighters, and I'd like to see more female fights, to be honest with you.
I'd love to.
I
I want to
really
see
would.
Norma fight.
I would love to see her
I would love
fight.
to see Norma fight. Come on, Norm.
Come on, Norma, we want to see you fight. Norma needs to get in the cage. I think there's Kayleen is going to get back in the cage. I don't know for November,
Yep.
But she's due. I mean, she trains so hard. She's been in Brazil for a month. Now
Good.
she's back. So there are girl fights around here, but it seems like the girl fighters aren't as, I guess, anxious to jump in the cage as the
Right.
guys.
Right. Well, some of them are too. I mean, what do we get? Joe Perez. She's training all the time. She just can't get any yet. So she will when she's ready.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. All right, I think we're done. Linda, it was great.
Well,
Thanks for coming.
having me.
This has been fun. Folks, thanks for coming to another Fireside Chat with Michael, the Hammer Mulligan, and Linda Shields from CFX.
And we're out.